Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in? Or maybe you've spent 20 minutes looking for your glasses, only to realize they were on your head the whole time. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. These little moments happen to all of us, but after 60, they can feel a little more worrisome than amusing. The truth is, forgetfulness isn't always a sign of something serious, but it can be a gentle nudge from your brain, asking for a bit more care. That's what this video is all about, recognizing the small things we're doing every day that make it harder for our memory to stick around, and learning simple ways to change that. Let's start with something that might surprise you. One of the biggest memory mistakes we make is believing that forgetting things is just normal at our age. That belief alone can quietly sabotage our confidence, and over time it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You forget a friend's birthday or where you parked the car, and instead of brushing it off, you tell yourself, "Well, I'm getting old. What do I expect?" That kind of thinking doesn't just lower your expectations of yourself, it actually reduces your motivation to stay sharp. The brain, like a muscle, needs challenge and stimulation to thrive. But if you stop believing it's capable of improvement, it starts slowing down simply because no one's asking it to do more. So, how do you fix that? You start by changing the way you talk to yourself. When you misplace something, instead of sighing and labeling it a senior moment, take a breath and say, "All right, brain, we've got this. Let's retrace our steps." A small shift, but one that keeps your mind engaged instead of defeated. Another big mistake: not sleeping enough, or not sleeping deeply enough. You might think, "I'm retired. I have all the time in the world to rest." But the reality is, a lot of seniors actually sleep less soundly as they age. Whether it's due to medication, discomfort, or stress, poor sleep wreaks havoc on memory. That foggy feeling in the morning? That's your brain still trying to file away yesterday's thoughts because it didn't get enough uninterrupted time to do the job. Think of your brain like a librarian. At night, while you sleep, it files everything you saw, felt, and learned that day into the right drawers. But when your sleep is shallow or restless, that librarian gets interrupted over and over. Some of the files don't get put away at all. And the next day, when you try to remember where you left your phone charger or what you needed at the store, those files are just missing. The fix here isn't about forcing longer sleep, it's about better quality sleep. That means a consistent bedtime routine, limiting screens before bed, maybe a short walk after dinner, and being mindful of what you eat in the evening. Even something as simple as a warm shower before bed or reading a few pages of a calming book can help signal your body that it's time to slow down and reset. Now, the third mistake might sound harmless, but it's surprisingly common: relying too much on lists and reminders. Don't get me wrong, reminders are helpful. But when we write everything down and stop actively trying to remember things ourselves, we stop giving our brain the workout it needs. It's like using a walker before you actually need one. If your legs are still strong, but you use it all the time, they'll weaken faster. The same goes for memory. If you never challenge yourself to recall a name, a recipe, or your daily tasks, your brain starts letting go of that skill. A better way? Try what I like to call mental rehearsal. Before writing something down, say it aloud to yourself 3 times. If you're heading to the grocery store, list the items in your head, then picture where they are in the store. Try walking through it mentally before grabbing a pen. It might feel a little silly at first, but you'll be surprised how quickly it becomes easier. And more importantly, your brain will thank you for the extra push. All of these little changes add up. They don't require huge effort or dramatic transformation. Just awareness. Just intention. Because the truth is, your mind is still powerful, still flexible, still capable of learning new things and remembering old ones. And sometimes, it just needs a bit of encouragement and a reminder that you haven't given up on it. It's funny how the smallest habits can shape how our minds perform each day. And when it comes to memory, there's one habit that sneaks in so quietly, we hardly notice it: doing everything the exact same way, every single day. Routine can be comforting, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with having one. But when every morning looks the same breakfast, same chair, same TV program, your brain starts coasting. It doesn't have to work as hard when everything is predictable. That might feel relaxing, but over time, it also means fewer mental connections are being formed, which can slowly dull recall and quick thinking. Imagine driving the same street every day for years. At first, you pay attention, but after a while, your mind checks out. You don't even remember the drive. The same thing happens with your daily habits. When you do the same crossword, talk to the same people, or follow the same schedule, you're not giving your brain fresh material to work with. That can lead to mental sluggishness, even if you're technically keeping busy. The solution? Introduce small, new challenges. That doesn't mean turning your life upside down. It could be as simple as brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, or sitting on a different side of the table. Try learning the names of new birds at your feeder, pick up a new route on your daily walk, or chat with someone new at your community center. Even switching your radio station for the day can light up different parts of your brain. These small tweaks don't feel like much in the moment, but they encourage your mind to pay attention again, to stay engaged instead of going on autopilot. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: hydration. Yes, drinking water might seem unrelated to memory, but you'd be surprised how often forgetfulness is linked to something as simple as mild dehydration. Think of your brain like a sponge. When it's hydrated, it's flexible, active, and efficient. But when it's dry, even slightly, it struggles. You might find it harder to focus, mix up your words, or forget what you were doing halfway through a task. And the thing is, after 60, your body doesn't send thirst signals as clearly as it used to. You might not feel thirsty at all, but your brain could still be craving water. That mid-afternoon fog? That could be your body nudging you for a glass of water, not another cup of coffee. Try this. Keep a small glass by your side all day. Sip from it without waiting to feel thirsty. Add a splash of lemon if plain water doesn't excite you. Herbal teas and water-rich foods like cucumbers or watermelon count too. Staying hydrated gives your brain the physical support it needs to store and retrieve information smoothly. One more thing. Don't underestimate the power of connection. Social withdrawal is another mistake that affects memory more than we realize. Sometimes, after retirement or big life changes, we pull back a little. Maybe we stop calling friends as often, or we feel like we've run out of things to say. That silence might feel easier, even peaceful. But over time, it can actually shrink the parts of the brain responsible for language and memory. Conversations, even casual ones, force the brain to retrieve words, process emotion, and stay alert. When you share stories, listen deeply, and laugh at an old memory, you're giving your mind a full workout without even realizing it. That's why things like book clubs, hobby groups, even phone calls matter. You don't need to be the life of the party. Just stay in the conversation. Keep showing up. Keep sharing your voice. That simple act of connection is a surprisingly powerful way to stay sharp. And if you're someone who's shy or more introverted, remember, this doesn't have to be a big social event. Even having a chat with your mail carrier or commenting on a neighbor's garden can count. The goal isn't quantity, it's quality. Honest, meaningful interaction, even in small doses, can do wonders for your cognitive health. As we move through these little memory traps and their gentle fixes, you might notice a common theme: attention. So many memory slips are less about forgetting, and more about never really absorbing the information in the first place. We're multitasking, distracted, half listening. Then we wonder why we can't remember where we put the keys. That's why practicing mindfulness, even in the tiniest ways, can be such a game changer. Try noticing your coffee before you drink it. Really taste it. When someone speaks, pause and repeat their words in your head before responding. This quiet presence pulls your mind into the moment. And that's where memory is born. Not in the future, not in the past, but right here. Your brain isn't asking for a miracle. It's just asking to be included, to be noticed, to be used in all its quiet strength. Now let's touch on one of the sneakiest traps that affects our memory as we get older: neglecting sleep. It's not just about how many hours you get, but the quality of that sleep. You might think, well, I went to bed at 10 and got up at 6. That's 8 hours. But if your sleep was light, filled with tossing, turning, or getting up often during the night, your brain didn't get the rest it needed to do its most important job: sorting and storing memories. During deep sleep, your brain clears out waste, processes the day's events, and locks in what you've learned. If you miss that stage, even if just a few nights in a row, it's like leaving a bunch of important papers scattered around the floor with no one to file them. That's when things start to feel foggy. Names escape you. You forget why you walked into a room. Or worse, you start doubting yourself. So how do we fix that? Start by creating a calming bedtime ritual, not just turning off the lights and hoping for the best. Give your brain a chance to wind down. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Avoid screens when you can, especially the harsh blue glow from phones and tablets. Sip on a warm herbal tea or read a chapter from a favorite book. Your brain will begin to associate these cues with rest, making it easier to transition into deeper, more restorative sleep. If racing thoughts keep you up, try this. Keep a little notepad by the bed. Jot down whatever's swirling in your mind, no matter how silly it seems. Once it's written, your brain feels permission to let go of it, at least for the night. And if you do wake up at 3 a.m., don't panic. Don't check the time or start scrolling. Just breathe. Focus on the weight of the blanket, the softness of your pillow, and remind yourself, this quiet moment is still rest. Even lying still in the dark helps your body recover. Here's something else to keep in mind. Memory isn't just about the brain. It's about your whole body working in harmony. And one major mistake many of us make is ignoring movement. You don't need to run a marathon, but moving your body every day, even gently, can significantly boost how clearly you think and how much you remember. Why? Because exercise increases blood flow to the brain. It literally delivers more oxygen and nutrients to help your mind perform. Think of it like watering a plant. If it's dry and starving, nothing can bloom. But with the right nourishment, suddenly everything begins to grow again. So what kind of movement helps? That depends on what you enjoy. A slow walk through the neighborhood, gentle stretching in the morning, dancing in the kitchen while the kettle boils. Even gardening counts. The key is consistency, giving your brain that daily dose of fresh energy. And here's a little extra boost. Try combining movement with learning. Listen to an audiobook on your walk. Try a new step during your dance. That combination of physical and mental engagement builds new connections in your brain faster than either alone. Now, there's one more mistake people make when trying to improve their memory. They push too hard. They treat the brain like a problem to fix instead of a partner to nurture. They pile on books, apps, memory tests, and then get frustrated when things don't change overnight. But your brain isn't broken. It's just asking to be treated with patience and trust. Memory improves not through pressure, but through gentle stimulation, connection, rest, and care. The moment you stop beating yourself up for forgetting and start inviting your brain back into your daily life, that's when the real change begins. Notice the details. Take joy in the process. Let your brain be curious again. Because the truth is, your memory isn't fading. It's waiting. Waiting for new stories. Waiting for new habits. Waiting for you to believe in it again. And now we come to the heart of it. The memory mistake we almost never realize we're making: isolation. You might not think of loneliness as something that affects your mind, but it does, deeply. more than most people want to admit. When we don't interact with others regularly, when we go days without meaningful conversation, our brain gets quieter. And not in a peaceful, meditative way, in a dull, foggy, unmotivated way. It stops being challenged. It stops practicing. And just like muscles, unused mental connections weaken over time. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be out socializing every night, but regular connection matters more than you think. Even chatting with a neighbor while watering your plants, a phone call with an old friend, saying hello at the grocery store. These moments light up areas of your brain tied to language, memory, and emotion. They give your mind a workout without you even realizing it. And here's the most beautiful part. Connecting with others doesn't just protect your memory, it lifts your mood. It reminds you that you matter, that you're seen. And when you feel seen, you show up more fully for your life. That energy? It carries over into everything else. So what's the fix if you've been feeling a bit cut off lately? Start small. One text, one visit, one smile. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect words. Just reach out. Even joining a local club, a walking group, or an online community can reignite your sense of belonging. And once that spark returns, it's amazing how sharp your mind becomes, because now it has a reason to stay awake. Let's not forget how powerful kindness is, not just towards others, but towards yourself. If you do forget things, don't rush to judgment. Instead of saying, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "What can I give myself more of right now?" Rest, nourishment, connection? Because here's the thing. Memory isn't a test you pass. It's a living part of you, responding to how you live, how you feel, and how you love. And love, yes, real connection and love, is perhaps the strongest mental medicine of all. So to bring it all together gently, you've heard a few things today. How we often overlook the role of sleep, the need for movement, the harm in pressuring ourselves, and the surprising impact of isolation. Each of these mistakes doesn't mean you're broken or failing. They're just habits. Habits that can be softened and reshaped. And that's the good news. Your brain is always ready to try again. No matter your age, it's still capable of healing, growing, remembering. One small shift, just one, can open up space for something better. And that space becomes possibility. A fresher day, a clearer moment, a memory you thought was lost, suddenly returning with the smell of morning coffee, or the way your child once said your name. The fixes aren't complicated. They don't require apps or expensive supplements or perfect routines. They just require care, consistency, compassion. You deserve to live with a mind that feels like yours again, not like a stranger slipping away. And now, I'd like to invite you to do something powerful. Share. Share in the comments. Have you noticed your memory change lately? What's helped you? What hasn't? Maybe you've tried one of these fixes and seen a difference. Or maybe this is the first time you're even thinking about it. Either way, you're not alone. This community is filled with people walking the same road, and your voice might be the one that helps someone else take their next step. If this video meant something to you, if even one part rang true, give it a like and subscribe. We have more stories, more solutions, and more support coming your way. And I'd love for you to be part of this space. Remember, it's never too late to change how your story goes. You can start today. You just did. Here's to you, and here's to living your best life at any age.